Yes, we are back. 2Gs in the pod. Your mum's favourite duo back in the studio again. And today I'm joined, got a very special guest in the building. Give it up for Lemzi.
Yay, wait. What
you saying, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be here as well with you guys, man.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you made it. Thank
you very much.
Yeah, Daniel's running late, but once he comes, then we'll
always
get
one in it.
Yeah, exactly. This happens every once in a while, where it's like people come late and stuff, and you know, with black man timing, like, and the thing is, cause I'm really like not a punctual guy. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not a punctual guy, except for things like
You're
this.
the first one here today.
That's what I'm saying. Except for things like this, yeah, I'm here on time all the time because I know if I'm not here,
do you know what it is? Do you know what I think it's down to? I think it's just down to the fact that you care about this.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we're really deeply honest, it's like, I don't actually care about a lot of other things.
Exactly. It's fully that, and so I can't really blame people when they come late because I'll come late for everything else. So, but yeah, how's it going, man?
Not bad, man. It's been a busy past few weeks, but if I really want to think about it, it's like, exactly.
Well, I mean, we were going to get into that in a second, but it's been a very busy year for you.
A lot of stuff's been happening, but I've been very blessed to have a lot of good stuff happen, and just looking forward to some of the immediate things, so the short-term things that are coming up, which we'll talk about. And wherever it goes from there, let's see. Growth, that's the word. Growth and ascension.
Growth. Is that what your word for 2019 and that?
100% ascension, man. Going up.
Cool. So the first thing I was going to ask you, we do this a lot when we have guests on. What's your playlist saying?
My playlist. Do you know what's funny? I don't really listen to playlists like that, you know. I'm an album person, innit?
Really?
Yeah, I love when someone gives me a sick album that I can sit down and listen to all of this, or an EP, whatever it is. But when it comes to singles, I've kind of, just because of how the algorithms work now, they kind of form playlists for me, innit? Yeah. But even then, when I find a song that stands out, I'm like, alright, cool. Forget the playlist. Let me go and see what else this person has given me, or if that's come from a certain project. So I just started listening to a guy called Loot, who's signed to Dreamville, for instance. Yeah.
I actually saw it. He was he supported Buzz at his show.
That would make sense. Yeah. Because I never heard of him until when I'm on YouTube, you see producer type beats, innit? So I seen Luke type beat, and I was like, oh, this is a nice beat. Oh, this is a nice beat as well. But I hadn't got into him yet. I hadn't thought, all right, let me check this guy out until literally, I think, last week or something. And I saw him and a couple other new faces that I've never seen or heard before, and I thought, these lot are cold. And what was really dope about it was just like, I love when I go into YouTube and I find there's sick artists who have hundreds of thousands of views. They have their own big-ish fan base. They're not like the biggest sellers, but big-ish fan base. They've got projects out, and you think, rah, I'm really late to this party. And it just inspires me as someone who's trying to do similar, where it's like, eventually there'll be a point where there's people who will see me not with 1,000 views, but with 100,000 views or near 1 million views, and then they'll be like, rah, I'm actually just late to this party. I'm happy to be here. So
I hear that, man. That's sick. It's funny that you say don't listen to playlists like that, because I always ask the question, assuming everyone listens to play. I always like, I've got playlists on playlists, like for different moods, everything like that. But people,
what's your mood today?
My mood today. So I made a playlist for this episode.
Jeez, come on,
which is a lot of UK, basically just UK stuff. So I've got we've got JK playing underneath. We started with Stormzy. I've got Dave's on there. Che Lingo. I think he's dope. Cold. He's dope. Koji Radical. Obviously a lot of your stuff as well. A lot of your stuff as well.
Sick.
But yeah, so really I want to jump into it. Basically 2019 has been a big year for you, but before we get into that, I want to start off with the question for those who don't know. Who is Lemzi?
This is like my least favorite question.
I know, I can tell. It's everyone's least favorite question because it feels like an interview.
Exactly. That's when it starts feeling like
like for a job and that.
And I'm a very hardworking, determined No. I am hardworking. I can't even lie. Like, I'm someone who, I have a lot of aspirations, and I have a lot of things that I really, really want to achieve before I'm gone, and I want to make sure that I've got a sustainable legacy behind me. Something that, you know, I will look back to and think, rah, I'm so happy I did X, Y, Z. And I'm just someone who wants to work and work until I don't have any regrets of the fact that maybe I should have tried that out a bit more or gone and done X, Y, Z. So I love music, and music's been my passion since I was about 10 years old. I wasn't really going to do music as a career, or I was fighting the urge and the necessity of me doing music as a career for a long part of my life, because I was very academic.
Yeah.
You know, I went to school, I did well GCSEs, A levels, and then university as well, where I got a 2-1 for law of criminology.
Okay.
I was at Manchester. But along that whole path, I had such an apathy towards the education system and school in general. So I knew that there was something about me that meant I'm not really going to be comfortable doing all the things that are quite conventional. However, because I was quite good at them, and because that's the norm, especially when we try and determine quote unquote success, it kind of just felt like I was on that conveyor belt where that was the trajectory that I was bound to be on, you know, get a good job in the city and stuff like that. And I actually did get a couple of jobs in the city. All of them ended for different reasons. But when I look back at it and I think about my own purpose and my own life, I think, none of those jobs were for me.
They weren't like fulfilling you.
Yeah, they weren't fulfilling me, but they weren't even like, there was no way that I was going to do any of those things for a sustainable amount of time.
Yeah.
Like I think the longest one that I had was 11 months or something.
Okay.
And the final job that I had as a legal assistant, I was made redundant. But that was literally the week before I was going to hand in my notice anyway. And my whole feeling was that, I'm in a really good law firm. I've got a good team of people around me who are very nice. I can talk to them if I need to. Sometimes a bit annoying, but that's just like colleagues, innit? I was in a great environment. I was in London Bridge, so outside the view was spectacular. Going around, you'd have nice things to eat. Everything was set up, but I just didn't feel it at all. I look around the office and think, I can't see myself being any of you people.
Yeah.
And the person that I was next to was this young girl called, actually I won't even say her name, but this young girl that I would sit next to, and she was 18, 19 or something, and she was just sick at the job. And I could tell that, like,
she's hungry for it.
And I was like, this is you, innit? This is your lane. And between her and I, we talk and we get on and stuff, but we're two completely different people.
Yeah.
So even seeing that, I was like, do you know what? This isn't where I'm meant to be. I need to go and really do something that's going to make me feel fulfilled. And I'm someone who loves seeing greatness in other people, and I know I had it in me in some degree. So I'm like, I need to go and do something that actually shows that I can be great at something.
Yeah.
So that was her greatness, saying like, I can do this job very well. Whereas for me, it's like, if I stay here or in any kind of environment like this, I'm not going to be able to exhibit what I truly believe is my own greatness. So let me go and do it in a field where I feel comfortable. And it's become creativity. So it's become music, it's become creating events and opportunities for other people as well. Because opportunity is everything, man. But that's me. I don't want to ramble on too much before you jump in.
That was interesting. It's actually brought up a couple of like questions that I hadn't planned, because I guess I can relate to you in some respects with the whole feeling like you're on the education conveyor belt, because I've done the same. Like, I went to a good school, got decent good grades on GCSEs, A levels, went to a good uni, and it's like I'm at the stage where it's like trying to think of my next step, and a lot of the jobs that I'm applying for and things, I'm just not enthusiastic about.
So what are you applying for, if you don't mind me asking?
Anything and everything. I'm casting a wide net trying to see what catches.
That's actually what I got to as well. Yeah, because I did the law thing, and then it was like,
it's all mad, honestly.
Trying to get a training contract was. People say music
my
is
sister's on the same thing as you, because she's doing it now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. They say music is competitive, but they haven't done the law degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a training contract, because that is like 1,000 to 1.
I remember when my sister was applying for hers. Yeah, because she eventually got one she's got one at Clifford Chance, and now she's just finishing off.
Congratulations to your sister. That's a big
when she was doing that, like, I could see the stress she was under.
Yeah, it's not easy. So anyone who does actually do it, and successfully, I'm like, hats off to you, man, because you've done something that I don't think I could do unless I really challenge myself.
Yeah. No, I hear that. And so, like I was saying, for me, it's just like, I feel like a bunch of the things I'm applying for, I'm not really that passionate about, but I'm applying because it's like, you always have to ask yourself, is it like passion versus paycheck? Because of course. You have to eat. Yeah, exactly. You can't live your life just like chasing a passion all the time. Like, sometimes you have to be realistic.
Yeah, of course.
You get me? Which is interesting that you sort of just taken the plunge into music. When it sounded like you had something good set up for you in terms of...
One thing I should say as well, because this is actually really, really important. A lot of people think that the whole I'm just going to quit my job, I'm just going to go for it thing it's really romanticized, man, and it's not great. and I would only do it if you can. So the reason I was able to do it at that moment in time is also because financially I was stable at that time.
Yeah.
Like I had savings, and I also got a bonus from when I left that job as well. So for me, money-wise, which is a big thing when you live in the city of London, I was okay. Like I could still afford to go on holiday or go out and eat and all this other stuff that I needed to do, at least for a little while anyway. So yeah, anyone who is thinking of just doing that plunge, make sure you look at everything around you first, innit? Like if you've got zero in your account, you need to save up. We need to have some way of thinking, how am I going to get some money? Because if you just create music or just draw or just design fashion, it takes a while to even get like good quality art, and then to have your good quality art seen, and then for it to be purchased. Like it takes a while for all of that to happen. So just make sure you're in a position that's safe. Like that's why I advocate for that strongly.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Okay, so I guess you've kind of explained, because my next question was how did you get into music, but I guess you've kind of explained that it was a passion from young, and then it was more like external influences that got me a lot. So when I was young, like 8, 9, in fact, you know, I don't even remember any music before I was like 9 years old, and that was because I think everything was just bubblegum pop music, like S Club 7. I was like, it's not real music. Yeah. And then I heard or I saw Eminem doing "Lose Yourself" in the music video, and I was like, whoa, this is different to the bubblegummy, very nice melodic stuff that I was used to at such a young age. And then all of a sudden it's someone who's quite aggressive, it's all dirty, it's rapping, it's quite bassy, etc. And that opened my world, opened the world of hip-hop music to me, innit? So I was then introduced to Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg's 50 Cent obviously became a huge person at that time as well. So there's a lot of things happening. And then, of course, grime music as well. All of these things were just influences for me and just information that I was absorbing. I was like, oh my God, this is the way to talk. This is the way to walk. This is the way to dress. This is the way to rap. This is the way to listen to your music. The way to share your music. All of this kind of stuff that we had when we were growing up. So whether it was MySpace and MSN or LimeWire, that was a big one. Yeah, I remember them days.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Like
disinfecting your mom's computer.
That's what I'm saying, innit? Because I feel like everyone at some stage, not everyone, but a lot of people at some stage were a rapper. A lot of people had bars at some point in their childhood. I think with me, it was just that I enjoyed it so much, and I really believed that I could actually do it quite well if I pushed myself to do so. That I've continued up to this point, because I was never the best rapper when I was younger. It was just that I was the hungriest, and I really, really wanted it, and I still really, really want it. So there's still a long way to go, but I'm happy with where we're at so far.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Love, man.
So then I guess my next question is, it might be a bit more like a philosophical question, but
jeez, come on, hit me.
Why did you start doing music? Like, what is it that you want out of the game? Is it to be the biggest artists in the world, like the Adeles and that, or do you have other reasons for why you make music?
Yeah, I think I make music simply because I have something to say, and although I can sit down with you now and we can talk about it, I feel that there's a whole different nuance when you start incorporating the audiological aspects of just music. Forget all the words, but the actual music itself, because I actually even used to do spoken word as well. Okay. So when I started out, I was like half spoken word artist, half rapper. And, well, actually not when I started out. So this is like post me doing grime music and stuff. I became more of like a spoken wordy, you say a lyricist basically, someone who just had loads to say. And I always felt there was, and this is no shot to spoken word at all, but I always felt there was a slight emptiness when I did spoken word, and I was missing something in terms of delivering what I really wanted to say. I was able to like say more, but there was a feeling that I was missing. So for me, it very much became like, let me focus on music and make music that avenue of how I can communicate with people, whether it's younger people, older people, etc. And I think for me, it was just because it had been such a big part of my life, unknowingly as well. A lot of it was subconsciously. I was just doing music, but it was always there. It was ever present. So at that point, when I was made redundant, I was like, what else am I gonna do? Am I gonna continue to pretend that I should be getting these kind of jobs and I should be doing that? And it will somehow make me happier later when I do have loads of money, even though I hate getting a tube every day. I hate wearing these clothes every day. I hate sitting in the same seat at my desk every day, etc., etc. Or am I going to do something that feels a lot more fulfilling, a lot more engaging, a lot more spiritually blessed as well? Like, I feel like it helps me get closer to God in a sense, because I'm able to talk about certain things, that you don't generally have that conversation at work, or I never did, but I'm able to have certain conversations just through music now.
Okay.
And time as well. Time is everything. So time and opportunity are two things. Like, however you use your time is very, very important, because we all have the same 24 hours. And if I'm giving somebody else my most effective time or my most effective hours, then the hours that I have for myself are dead. So yeah, for me, it was very much like, now I have all the time that I need to create the legacy that I want to do and the success that I want to see eventually.
Would you, just jumping on the fact that you mentioned that it sort of, you find that music brings you closer to God, would you say that your faith is quite important to you?
I would 100%, but yeah, whenever I get into the conversation about God or faith, it's very interesting, because I'm not religious at all. I'm not Christian, I'm not Muslim, I'm not Hindu, or etc., etc., etc. However, I see the value in all of those things and what it brings to certain people's lives, and I feel that there is something that connects all of us as
quite like a spiritual
beings.
Person,
yeah, that's how I describe it without it, because I know some people see it as a bit I don't know, a bit cliche, a bit corny, or a bit of a cop-out when you say, it's spiritual. But in me being genuine, the way I see people is that we are all spirits, essentially, but we're all connected to something. Okay. And the way we interpret that connection is completely individual based. So for some people, it will have to be through Christianity. For others, through Judaism. Through me, I kind of try and do it through a sense of like morality and ethics.
Okay.
And I feel like that's enough. Some people will say, what are you talking about? That's definitely not. And obviously prayer as well. But some people say, of course, that's not enough. You have to go through the Pope, or you have to go through whatever it is that certain doctrines prescribe. I'm not sure if you really, really do. But I feel that it does, me doing music and me having my own time and me having my own purpose now has really allowed me to like dig deeper into that and just see the world more for what I believe it probably is, as opposed to what someone tells you it might be.
That's interesting, because I feel like, especially recently, we've seen like an increase in people using music to speak about, religion or spirituality and stuff. Stormzy springs to mind.
Yeah.
And like different artists that they use it, like it's become more acceptable to talk about those kind of things, and or just express that through music.
Yeah.
But yeah, another question I had for you is, what does success mean to you? Like, when do you think that? When will you say, "All right, I've made it. I'm a successful artist"? Do you already think that you're a successful artist? Or
I think it's funny, because I did a panel discussion the other day, and this is a question that came up as well. And what I truly believe is that success is measured in various different stages and steps in it. There's no end success. If we spoke to Jay-Z and Beyonce now, they both say, yeah, we're pretty successful, but ... whatever else they're trying to become successful at. Whereas we'd all look at them like, oh my God, what are you talking about? You're so successful, kind of thing. There is obviously levels. So for me, it would be a huge success if, say, this tour that we've got coming up next week, if every venue was sold out, especially the London one, and everyone had a great time. That is a huge success to me, like huge. But success to the point where I'm like, cool, I've got it, and I don't really have to look over my shoulder to make sure that the next thing I'm doing does really, really help me, and I've got that contingency behind everything. That's something that I'm still working towards. That's when I'll be able to do the bare basics, or well, not bare basics, but the necessities of life, of having ownership of a property, for instance, having ownership of a vehicle that allows me to travel to the places that I need to go all the time, being able to provide for a family, all this kind of stuff, all these necessary things that you have to do in life. That's when I'll feel like, all right, cool, I'm good, because I can do these kind of things, and I also feel happy with what I'm putting out there as well. That's when I'll kind of feel a big form of success. But of course, from there, there's even more and more and more to go. So
it's like there's different markers of success.
100%.
This journey that you're on.
100%.
That makes sense. So you mentioned the tour, and I mentioned earlier how 2019 has been a big year. So, so I first came across you at the Kiki music event back in November.
November,
where they like did a bunch of events around London for like a week or something like that. And shortly after that, you dropped your album.
I think it was just 2 weeks after or something.
Oh, was it 2 weeks after?
Something like that.
Yeah, I know it dropped
like
in
like November.
Or December or something like that. Yeah. So speak on dropping your album and
man.
Firstly, so the album's called Lecky Perspective, right? Or
Lecky. Yeah. The headline show that I did was called Lecky Perspective, but the album was Lecky. Yeah.
Okay, so why the name Lecky?
You have to listen to the album to find out. Okay. That's what I was saying. Because the reason is on the album. It's not like a super deep, and it's very, very clear on the album as to why it's called Lecky. Like, you'll find it out. I say it very bluntly. But in essence, it's a name that's been associated with me since I was very, very young. And this album, Lecky, is very, very, I guess it kind of epitomizes all of the types of things that I believe in or I prescribe to at that specific or this specific moment in time. Without going so deep into everything that I believe, but giving you a broad spectrum of the things that I do hold dear to myself, whether it's relationships, whether it is my spirituality, whether it is having fun and enjoyment, whether it is empowerment and encouragement, whether it is social issues, whether it is rapping abilities as well, like trying to be good at rapping, stuff like that. That's what Lecky will give you as a listener. And it's got a theme throughout it, which is basically a conversation almost like we're having right now as well.
Is the person that is in the conversation, is that meant to be a therapist, or is it just a person that you're just talking to?
No, it's kind of like a therapist. Okay. When I wrote it, it was really weird, because when I wrote it, it was me being hypercritical of myself. Okay. More than anything. And I call the person doctor, or just doc throughout, but it's more like, it could be really interpreted as that's just your self-conscious and you're battling that, or you can see it as a more literal sense of, this is the doctor/therapist that you're talking to, who's going to be critical to make sure that you really understand what you're getting yourself into, and you can definitely like verify what you believe in. Because a lot of the time people will just say stuff for the sake of saying it, and it's like, do you really believe that relationships are good between a man and woman, for instance? Do you really believe that God is in this light, etc., 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 whatever it is? But to verify that, and that's what this album kind of is.
Is it was it your debut album?
Debut album, and I've done loads of mixtapes before, and they were all like, to me, they were all like practice hours just to do stuff at that moment in time. So when I was in Manchester, I was making mixtapes. When I came back and I was doing the 9-to-5s, I was still creating mixtapes and stuff. In 2016, I made an EP called Autumnal Aura, and that did pretty well in terms of like underground London bubbles and stuff. So that helped me get a few good shows like Jazz Cafe and stuff. But from there was a big battle between like, should you do an album or not, in my mind, and even with people that I was talking to. And a lot of that was just based on the fact that like the numbers aren't there. But again, it's kind of come back to the success thing. It's like, do you have to wait for success to hit you before you actually do something, or do you do stuff to make yourself successful? And I like to do stuff to try and make myself successful. So I thought it's just time for me to do an album. I've done mixtapes, I've done EPs, I've done singles, I've done videos, I've got XYZ. What else can I really do artistically besides making an album?
So how does your approach differ? Like, firstly, what do you see as the difference between an album and a mixtape? Because like right now with streaming, it's almost like it all comes under this one bubble of project, and people just drop just to drop. What do you see as the difference between an album and a mixtape? And like, how did your approach differ when you're making the two?
So an album, a lot of it just comes down to the word. And if someone uploads something and they call it an album, to me that means, all right, when everything is said and done,
this is what you.
This is what we're looking at. Like, your mixtape is just thank you for giving your fans and people who listen to music just something extra to listen to. Whereas your album is how we measure you. Your album is the thing that can win you like serious awards. Your album is the thing that will be compared to other people's albums of the past, because people of the past, they didn't really have mixtapes the same way we do. So let's say we're looking at Tupac and Biggie's albums. We're going to measure your album against their albums. We can't measure your mixtapes against their albums. And the mixtape generally, in my head, is a lot more fun. Just because you can include interviews, you can include freestyles, you can rap on other people's beats and production. Yeah. You can kind of just...
You can flex, basically.
Yeah, you can flex and do anything you kind of want. I think American Logic is quite good at showing the difference between the two. Like on his mixtapes, is it Bobby Tarantino?
And the
those
Young
ones.
Sinatras.
Yeah, he kind of just goes in. Yeah. He just raps and he just picks a load of beats that he finds easy and fun to rap on. Whereas when it comes to your album, everything is original first and foremost. So you have to think about all of the production has to match exactly what you're going with. And for a good album in my head, it has to be cohesive first and foremost. And it sometimes is conceptual as well. It doesn't have to be, but it's definitely cohesive. Whereas with mixtapes, it could be more like bang, bang, little filler stuff, bang, bang. Because it's
interesting you say that, because I was having a discussion with my friend about Drake's albums, actually, because I was saying that I'm a massive Drake fan, but I feel like he hasn't dropped a cohesive album in a while. And my friend was debating me on that. And I realized that I don't really know how I define a cohesive album. I just know when something feels cohesive or when it doesn't. Do you get me? So like, More Life didn't feel cohesive.
More Life wasn't cohesive.
Exactly.
But that was the one he said was a playlist.
Yeah, that's what he said was a playlist.
I don't think he wanted that to be cohesive.
Exactly that. Yeah. So what do you, when you say it has to be cohesive, what do you mean by that?
I mean, sonically, conceptually, and emotionally, there has to be something that spreads across the whole project,
like or you can
theme. Or something that kind of ties A to Z.
Yeah.
So J. Cole KOD, for instance.
Yeah.
I suppose that one's a little bit easier just because that is a conceptual project as well. Like
I think J. Cole's good at doing conceptual projects.
Very, so even For Your Eyes Only as well, like it's conceptual. So from A to B, there's a certain theme that's running across. And in terms of production, like the production can vary. So with KOD, he had the trap bangers, but then he had very slow, more heartfelt and introspective songs as well, but all tied into the concept of how drugs can destroy and damage people, whether it's a personal thing that he's had or just seen, or just generally how he feels about stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I see like that's cohesive. I'm trying to think of another example that's not conceptual, that's cohesive. Let's just say Nas Illmatic. That kind of comes down a lot to the production though. Like all the production was very, very similar. It had that gritty New York 90s
I would say
with
that album though, I would say that it is sort of conceptual, because it's like him, as he's basically said, like, I'm a little kid talking about
what I see
in New York. So that is kind of like a concept, I would say, with that one. But I hear what you're saying about it's not like you wouldn't pick that out as this is a conceptual album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that is definitely a cohesive one as well. So I guess maybe sort of the beat selection and that kind of thing.
100%. Yeah. Like say with More Life, there was
see that one. I feel like More Life, like he said, he was trying to showcase all the music that inspires him and stuff. Like so, I think that's why he decided to do like UK here.
And I think with Drake,
thing.
I think that's like one of his greatest attributes, but also his biggest flaw at the same time. The fact that he is so diverse with his music that it's almost impossible for him to say, all right, I'm going to pick this sound and stick to it. I think it
would always disappoint one section of his fan base.
Exactly. I think the one time he kind of did that was If You're Reading This, where he was like, I'm gonna rap basically across the whole thing, and he pretty much did. But of course that, now in 2019, where there is huge Bashman Afrobeats influence, where there's huge drill and grime influence, where there's huge hip hop R&B influence, and even pop influence for Drake as well. It's like he has to do all of it.
It's true, but I mean, having said that, If You're Reading This is one of my favorite Drake projects. So
there you go, and that's what subsequently a lot of people have been saying that as well.
Yeah, like when you stick to what you know you're best at.
Exactly, with that feeling of cohesion, it's like, actually, do you know what, this is hard. Yeah, because he just goes in the whole way.
everybody has a different sort of Drake list in their head anyway. Everybody that's a Drake fan has a different Drake list. Because my boy I was chatting to, he really loves Views, and I'm like, yo, Views wasn't it for me. So
I'm not even like a huge Drake fan, but Views, I don't think I can ever listen to that again.
That's what I'm saying. For me, Views wasn't it. Like, I'm not gonna say it's a bad album because I do like it, and I still spin a few songs off it. But as a project, it wasn't it for me. But the guy swears by Views, like he dies by it. So he was fully trying to convince me, and I was there like, how? But then I guess everybody's thing, like,
everyone's taste is different.
Yeah, it's a personal preference thing. Okay, yeah. So you dropped your album in December.
Yeah.
You're part of, is it Exclusive Collective?
Correct, Exclusive Collective.
Yeah, that's explain the team. What that is.
So Exclusive Collective is a group of 6 different artists. Yeah, we'll call it. Yeah, everyone's an artist. Predominantly rappers, but then we also have like spoken word as well. They also have merchandise. We also have graphic designing as well. So it's just creatives who do stuff
together.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like we do a lot of stuff separately, but then we tie as much together as we can. Like we just try and connect with each other, because if someone is good at graphic designing, for instance, we'll talk to them about the graphic design. If someone needs studio, then we'll be like, oh guys, we're going studio, etc. But it's not a thing where it's like, I'm going studio, so everyone in the collective has to come studio with me.
I get you.
Yeah,
I get you.
But yeah, man, there's Timmy B, there's Willis, there's Ferns, there's Jerome Leitz, and there's Ghetto Hippie as well. And everyone's like, as I said, kind of doing their own thing, and then we come together. So yesterday we got nominated for an award at the Legacy Nation Awards.
Okay.
That was their first year as well doing the award show, but it was pretty good, man. We went there, we didn't win. But it's cool because it was nice to just be in a room and be amongst like other people exactly that are doing their thing.
What was the award that you were nominated for?
Best Music Group.
Best Music Group. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, almost won that, but yeah, not this year. Probably when that event is bigger and better and we're bigger and better, we'll come together and be like, yes, thank you guys, you got this now.
It's interesting that you mentioned awards as well because. So was it last week that you played second in the Coffee Music project?
Yeah, just last week. Yeah, last week. Man, was it even last week? I think it was this. Oh no, it's Monday. I saw it on Instagram and I was like, alright, make sure you ask about this one. What day is it? Yeah. It was just last week. Came second in the Coffee Music project, and it was so funny because it was like, I'll say this candidly, it was like it was fixed, innit?
Well, the result and everything.
Yeah. Okay. But it's cool because what we did in the room made me know that what we're doing, as in me, I had a guitarist as well, IK, shout out to IK, and piano player Alex DeLacy as well, so shout out to them. So what I knew, what we are doing is touching people, because they even mentioned it and referenced it themselves. But when I saw the winner who won, I was like, oh, this is sick, but
we're better. You can say it, but listen,
not just we're better, but like,
I'm much more wavy than you.
There was a lot of things from the very, very beginning of this whole process that as soon as they announced him, it was coming up to the stage, I was like, yeah, this makes so much sense. Okay. Like, the whole thing kind of clicked in place then. So I thought, okay, cool. If we're second, then really we won, which is dope. But we didn't get, like, the actual grand prize, which was going to New York and then also £1,000 in cash.
Okay.
Which, you know, we move nice, anyway. Yeah, it would have been nice, but we move still, and like, we'll be good.
So how did explain what the project is, how it started and stuff like that?
So Coffee Music Project is an organised, it's a competition that leads towards London Coffee Festival, New York Coffee Festival, and LA Coffee Festival. So it operates in these 3 different parts of the world.
London Coffee Festival it's
already gone
recently, isn't it?
Yeah, it was, I think, in March.
Yeah, because I know a few people that went to that.
Yeah, so I performed at that as a finalist of the Coffee Music Project London. We all got to perform at London Coffee Festival. That's a lot of coffee stuff, so I hope I'm not losing people here.
I'm a drink coffee.
I don't even drink coffee, bro. So yeah, when I was at London Coffee Festival, my mind was blown because I thought, I did not know that like
people love it like this. I thought people like just to stay awake.
4 stories of this big building, and it was packed of just coffee enthusiasts and coffee and some bits of tea, and I thought, whoa, like this is different.
Yeah.
But it was cool because it is a whole different demographic then, because it's like this isn't people who. Not that if you drink coffee you don't like rap, but a lot of the people I saw
wouldn't
anticipate that. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the whole process in itself, there's an online application bit. You have to apply online. If they accept you, they're like, cool, you're through to the live stages, and there's preliminary round of 32. Then there's a semi-final of 16, and then there's the final of 8 people as well. And they spread it out over the course of, I think we started in February, and as I said, we just ended last week. So between February and April, so like 2 months or so, is the whole process. Once you get to the live stages, that is. And yeah, man, as I said, the winner gets to go to New York. Well, the winner of the London one got to go to New York, got cash prize. I don't know what the winners of New York or LA will get, but those are happening both in October and November.
Okay.
So yeah, I was even saying to the team, we might even just go out to New York and just
might as well.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a few months to plan it.
Yeah,
so
might as well, man.
Might as well get out there, or LA, which one of the two.
Yeah. We're gonna take a break here because Daniel's here. So
Big up
Daniel. We're gonna jump in one of your tunes. Which tune would you like me to play?
Have you got Bots there?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's run that.
All right, cool. Here's Bots by Lemzi.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was Bots by Lemzi.
But.
And Daniel's in the building. What are you saying, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How you doing?
The headphones don't work, so you can take them off still. They don't work.
Oh.
Wait, do they work?
No.
I'm pretty sure they're not plugged in. Yeah. Safe for the donuts, so. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Thank you for joining us eventually.
No, I brought donuts.
Yeah.
I feel like I made up.
It's mad though. This is the first time you've been on since.
Jam.
When's the last time you came on, bro? Like January, something like that.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
We've been trying to organize it.
Yeah.
Months.
But I mean, working it. But obviously, it's a bank holiday today, though.
Yeah.
But what's work saying?
Yeah. No, work is calm.
It's good. Still enjoying it.
Yeah, still enjoying it so far.
You sound very confused.
I mean, like the project I'm on isn't that interesting right now, but like there's other stuff I'm interested in that I'm trying to get into. So it's calm.
Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lemzi.
Yes, sir.
We were talking about everything that you've been up to in 2019.
Yeah.
So we just finished talking about the Coffee Music Project, and lastly, you're going on tour.
Correct, man.
Going on tour this week, right?
Wednesday the 8th of May, right through to Saturday the 11th of May. We're going to be on tour, the Hidden Gems live tour, first UK tour, first tour in general actually.
Okay.
So it's going to be sick, man. I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's starting in Coventry on the 8th, Leicester on the 9th, Manchester on the 10th, which is Friday, and then we'll be back home for Rich Mix in Shoreditch on Saturday the 11th. Yeah, I'm proper gas for it, man. It's going to be me, the rest of the exclusive collective, Trey Avalon. We're going to be traveling around the country, and then we got some sick support artists all over. So in Coventry, we have Coventry-based artists, in Leicester-based artists, and Manchester-based artists. So I'm just looking forward to like networking with these different places outside of London and see what's happening, what's the vibe, and what we can attract there as well. Like it's a real test.
Are tickets still available? Yeah,
tickets are all there. If you want to grab some. In the out of London shows, we got 2 for 1 available, and also groups of 4 get a discount as well.
Okay.
So if people just head to www.hiddengemslivetour.co.uk, you'll find all the ticket information for all the dates. Or if you just follow me on Instagram at Lemzi Artist, click the link in my bio, you'll see it there. Or at Hidden Gems Live, link in bio, you'll see it there.
Why the name Hidden Gems?
So I do my own events as well, and Hidden Gems Live is one of the events that I run. I've been running that since September 2017, and yeah, the same way I was like, am I gonna sit around and wait for people to, finally be listening to me to drop an album? Was the same thing with this tour. I was like, am I gonna sit around and wait for someone to book me to go on tour, or am I just gonna use some of the networks and connections that I've already developed, i.e. the artists that we've got in these different places, some of the organizations, etc., and just connect with these people and just try and make our own thing happen the same way we do in London all the time. Because the show in January that I had was like a high success point for me again, that headline show that I did. And from that, I just thought, I need to do this again.
Is that the Lecky Perspective show?
The Lecky Perspective show, sorry, that we had in the last time in Rich Mix. And from there, I was like, I need to do this again, need to just make these opportunities happen for myself. Because right now, I'm getting older, I'm getting better, but I'm getting older still. So it's like, I can't sit and wait for anything to come to me. I have to like create my own opportunities and just hope from there something builds off of it. But yeah, Hidden Gems Live Tour UK, Wednesday the 8th through to Saturday the 11th. Tickets online right now on C Tickets or on Rich Mix website as well.
Yeah, we'll post a link as well when we put the episode out as well. So the last question I had, the last couple of questions I had, more, focus on your career.
Yeah.
Firstly, what's been the highlight so far in your career?
Yeah, it would be these last like 6 months really. So getting on Sky News, getting on London Live, releasing the album, doing a sold out headline show, then this creating my own tour alongside the people that I mentioned before as well has definitely been like one of the key highlights for me, because it's just, I'm proud of everyone who's been involved and really like contributed as well. Like, we haven't even done it yet. It might be a tremendous flop, who knows, but
don't speak into existence.
It won't be a tremendous flop, but the fact that like we've done it, we've done it, and this is something that not a lot of my peers can say they have actually done yet. So I look at us as people that are leading the way in our own little circle of UK music. There's other people obviously who are already successful and already doing global tours like Dave's and Stormzy's, etc. But for those of us who are not commercially seen yet and not supported financially by any outside entities, this is what we're doing. We're making things happen still.
No, that's dope. When I can't remember if you mentioned this, but when was it that you started your your music career in earnest? So like, when was it that you left your job and started doing it full time basically?
So that would have been July 2016. So yeah, it's going to be 3 years soon where I this is what I've been doing as a full-time job.
Fair enough. And lastly, what do you wish that you knew before getting into the creative industry? And I guess in extension, what advice would you give to anybody that is trying to get into the industry?
Make sure that you've got a good team around you, because you can't do everything on your own. Make sure that you put in the hours as well, and make sure that you actually do it because you want to do it, because no one has to do music. Like, no one's putting a gun to anyone's head saying you have to make songs. So if you don't feel that this is for you, or if you don't understand actually that there is a lot of hard work that goes into doing it, as hard as any other job that you're going to do, I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so you mentioned that you've been on Sky News.
Correct, yeah.
And I saw that actually. Well, I saw your post on Instagram, and the caption on the thing said, Lemzi abandoned plans to become a lawyer to focus on making music to fight knife crime. So we discussed it back when your album dropped. We discussed. So what we do every month, we do like a music roundup. So we just round up the music that we've been listening to that month. So your album dropped back in December when we were talking about it. I think you just posted that on Instagram. Yeah. So that's what we were talking about. We were just like, so how are you gonna? What, you're gonna drop out and be like knife man? and then I was listening to the album. Batman, exactly. Yeah. And I listened to the album and I was like, the album is not like a anti-knife crime album or anything like that, and not that anybody could even release an album that. Yeah, it's just fully about knife crime, and then like the problem of knife crime is solved through an album. Yeah. But so they kind of stitch you up with that.
Bro, you know what? I wasn't even shocked in it. It was like, it's funny, man. All of that kind of stuff around the media, I knew that there was going to be their own agenda, and then really and truly it just comes down to, can you get what you want to get out of it as well? Like, don't go into it so naive that these people are going to do everything you ask them to do. They have their own agenda and whatever they want to get out there, and sensationalist headlines are exactly what they do. So first and foremost, I didn't drop out. I got my degree first and foremost. Secondly, I made a song about knife crime, as opposed to being this vigilante who's out here trying to fight everyone who holds a knife and bots, stuff. Right? Yeah, that was bots as well. Yeah. And yeah, there's a lot of people who are actually like really about this let me end knife crime stuff. Most of them aren't musicians. Most of them are doing real active groundwork. There was a guy I can't remember his name, but the guy who was literally giving people JD vouchers in exchange for their weapons.
I heard about him. Yeah.
Can't remember what it was called, but he was on a lot of things. I think he was on Sky News. He went on Good Morning Britain, a couple other things as well. But those are the people that, if you want to talk about knife crime, look at him and look at what he's doing. Or the people who consistently work in PRUs or with young offenders and stuff. I work with young offenders sometimes, or with young people a lot, but they're not the young people who are most at risk of being involved with knife crime. They're just the ones who love rap music, or in school, they've got a bit of attitude and stuff, but they're not the ones who are out here causing crimes or vulnerable really to that extent kind of thing. So yeah, it was just a lot of
I do think I mean, even though like the headline that they put was basically a joke, to be honest, I do think there is a kind of a point to be made though, because I guess not just focusing on tackling knife crime, and I'm thinking London specifically, but also just youth engagement in general. Doing that through music, I think has it carries a different weight to doing it through certain other means. Because you know, that at that age they're kind of impressionable. They listen to music, they listen to the artist anyway. So I do think there is something to be gained through like using music to try and engage the youth.
100%.
In that way.
100%.
And like you do a lot of youth engagement work, right?
Yeah, so I work in a bunch of different schools across East London and Essex, and I also, as of late especially, I've done quite a few talks with different groups of young people at different ages. So I was in Sheffield last week at a college just giving a talk more about like what I've done so far, and just the honest reality of someone who's an independent artist trying to find their own routes to success in their different formats. Again, last week, I did another talk with some young secondary school kids as well, and that was all about like politics and potential involvement in politics, whether at this age that they're at or slightly older, or when they're actually of voting age and stuff. So there's a lot of things that I end up being involved with. A lot of them I don't even actively look for at the moment, because for me, one of my main priority at the moment is making sure that the music is sick and the tour is sick. But now, because I've established myself as a member of, especially in Waltham Forest, as a member of the community that's like willing and able to communicate with young people in a way that a lot of other people our age or older wouldn't be able to, simply because I understand them a bit more, I guess, or even the way I express myself is a bit more relatable, whether it's through music or just the way I speak. It's allowed certain opportunities, such as the ones I just mentioned as well, just for me to be able to talk and engage with them. And even through working in the schools, at first I did actually have this like complex of, no, I need to help all of these kids. I need to make sure that they are looking at things and becoming better. I still have that to a degree, but it's a lot lesser now. Because just from being in the space of these young people and working with them on a weekly basis, you see that like they like what they like, they don't like what they don't like, they don't know what they don't know yet. You can show them little bits, give them little nuggets at a time. So for instance, in one school, I always write one quote on the board every week that I go there. Hopefully they write it down, hopefully they remember it, but really and truly, a lot of the time they're just thinking about lunch because they're hungry, or like what's going to happen in break time and all this other stuff, or whatever we're going to listen to or do in the session. So a lot of it is just, as I said, the time and opportunity. The school's giving them opportunity to do something with their time that they enjoy, so let me just try and make it a good use of their time. That's it.
What do you think about, and I'm kind of throwing this question out there because I don't even know the artist, but I don't even know the answer myself, but like, what's your opinion on drill music? Because I know people have been, I mean, they recently censored a few drill tunes here and there, and there's just been a lot of talk about, is drill music the cause of increased knife crime that we've seen in London and stuff like that?
Well, that's silly.
What do you think?
Drill okay.
Are you as well, Daniel, as well?
Yeah, no, that's cool. In terms of like, is it the cause of increased knife crime? Absolutely not. Is it a factor that plays into certain impressionable minds? Yes. Are there a lot of different nuances and facets behind what causes knife crime? Most definitely. So even when we talk about knife crime, and this is why in Bots as well, I address a bunch of different people, because it's not one thing. It's not, oh, these are bad parents, or oh, these people are poor, or oh, there's so many different things that go into why someone would carry a knife, use a knife, and then continue to do so as well. That just pinning it on one point, whether you're saying it's drill or the police or whatever, straight away people show their ignorance, because it's like you haven't actually looked at the subject at all or the topic at all. Drill music. It's one of those where throughout rap's history, we've always had like a darker element to it.
The thing is, I don't even think it's just rap, because if you look at just movies or anything, like there's been this sort of like, for want of a better word, like fetishization of violence and like stuff that's violent. Like look at like computer games and all that kind of stuff. Like, so the fact that there's violence in music all the time,
it's not new.
Isn't something new or something like strange because it's in all sorts of like media that we consume and stuff.
What drill does to me is it just accentuates the hyper masculine, capitalist views and perspectives that they come from a system that has been here since before any of us got here. If we look at this country and look at what it truly holds in a good light, or what it truly tries to propagate, it isn't be the smartest person, because we see stuff, we see TV shows where people are just becoming rich and successful from having sex on TV, or from actually chatting nonsense on TV. Like, these people become successful from doing so. So it's not about be the smartest or be your best version of yourself at all. This is a system that says get money. And
well, then, because just to stop, like,
go on.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you say they become successful, but like, is success measured by what the system that you're talking about defines success as? So in other
if we're
words,
talking
like,
about a capitalist system, if we're talking about a capitalist system whereby capital is what measures how well you do in the system, then your finances are very much tied to that. I'm not saying for my own beliefs that that person is like, I don't look at the people of Tawi, for instance, and think, they are successful, I want to be like them at all. However, in this system of, you now have a lot of capital behind you, you now have a lot of interest behind you as well, you now have value in the system because of the nonsense that you were saying on TV for like 40 minutes of a day or something. If we uphold that as the standard, then we can't, when we see people that do drill music, really and truly, they're just abiding by that system. They're just saying, I want to have that much money, I want to have that much value. And their environment is different. Their environment is not Tawi, where it is suburbs and it is just going to the pub and it is quite wealthy already. It's impoverished a lot of the time. It is a micro economy whereby people are just in the States or in small areas and stuff like that, and you have to survive in these kind of environments. So in that setting where they see themselves, a lot of these artists will say, nah, I'm doing what I can to be the most successful here, and then maybe I'll go on beyond that. That's what a lot of, like Heady On, he was the most successful where he was, and then because he's sick, he's managed to get out of that and just be a sick artist now. So drill has its success stories, it has its sad stories as well. There's an artist that's from near where I'm from who's been locked up for I think 23 years now because he was shooting at police. So when these people are doing what they're saying in their songs, it's sad because that's their real life. And hip-hop music in particular has always been the music where we want people to tell us the facts, like what's going on, tell us about your story. So we can't be mad at them when they tell us that I'm out here shooting people and they're actually out here shooting people. Like, we need to try and change their circumstances so they don't feel they have to be out there shooting people.
I think it's interesting as well because I always go back and forth on the drill thing, and I don't know, like, what do you think about it as well?
Do you guys listen to drill?
I do. I listen to drill, but I'm not. I'll say I'm a casual fan. Like, I don't listen to. It's not what I spin on a daily basis or anything like that.
I barely ever. If I'm honest, I barely ever listen to drill music.
I usually listen I usually listen when I'm in the gym, but I haven't even been in the gym.
We need to get gassed
Yeah, exactly. If I ain't been in the gym that often, I've been trying to get back into it for a while. But
to be fair, the production on drill,
exactly, it's hard.
Some of it is mad. Yeah, that's why. Say with No Stress on the album, I love that beat, and I was like, I have these bars left over from stuff, and because I love that beat, just the bass, the way the hi-hats kick, everything about it, I'm like, this is sick. And a lot of the other drill tunes I hear as well, I think this is sick. Like, and some of these guys can rap as well.
I mean, I think a lot of the time when I'm listening to drill, I'm actually just listening for the beat because even if I know what they're saying, I'm trying to ignore what they're saying because one thing I'll say that I think is a problem with drill is the fact that they kind of turn the violence into a sport. Like, even like, looking at Heady, and Heady's one of my favorite. I think Heady's the best in drill right now.
I hear that.
And so he's one of my favorite drill artists, and excellent finish, Mo Salah. It's something that everyone says all the time, but when you deep it and you think about what he's really saying, you're like, bro, that's a madness what you're saying. Or is like my young one's the top striker, stuff like that. It's a bit mad what they're saying, but at the same time,
what about like 50 Cent and all these other? Because a lot of these guys, even Nipsey Hussle.
I hear that.
Nipsey Hussle says a lot of crud in his music.
He does.
That Victory Lap album had crud all over, but it's a sick album.
I think there's one thing, because I think with drill you kind of lose some of the like subtlety behind it sometimes.
Yeah, it's very overt.
It's very in your face. Like they it's like they're proud of the fact that, listen, our genre is not for the faint-hearted, so if you can't hack it, fuck off.
Yeah, don't listen to me, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Which I think is, like, I rate that, but I do think, I don't know, I always go back and forth, because I think if you censor drill, then you're just stopping, they're using the drill music as an outlet to describe their situation and describe what, like, the environment they're in.
Yeah.
So if you just censor it, you basically deny them an outlet for describing that stuff.
Pretending that it doesn't exist.
Yeah, you're basically pretending it doesn't exist so that you can appease yourself, basically. Exactly, and not only that, you're denying them that, and also drill like leads to a legal way of making money.
Yeah.
So you now deny them an avenue of getting legal money and bringing people out of the situation they're in. And so that's the sort of like cons to me of banning drill. But then on the other hand, there's some freestyles that I hear where I'm like, you can hear that they're clearly getting at another gang or another this or another 100%, that, and it's 100%. Like if something happens as a result, but if something happens as a result of them saying that on a record and it going on YouTube and getting tens of thousands, 100,000 views, if something happens as a result of that, then you can't really justify keeping that video up.
That's actually a bad thing. That's a bad thing.
But then it's like, do you wait until something bad happens and then censor the video, or do you try and preempt it by being like, all right,
that's interesting. That's a good question, actually.
You know, it's difficult.
That's a good question. I think a lot of that comes down. Do you know what? A lot of that comes down to case by case then, because
that's true.
I would say there are certain artists who, on the weight of things, you could probably see and say, okay, they're trying to do music and trying to become artists in a sense, whereas if another person raps 3 or 4 videos in a row and they're just getting at another group, you can kind of clearly say, all right, no, that's actually inciting hate. There's laws against that, and that's inciting hatred or inciting violence. You can say, no, that has to go because you specifically target another individual, another entity, and now you're actually going against the law, so we can arrest you for that, if anything, let alone take down your video. Whereas if it is, I don't know, done in a, for lack of a better term, a smarter way, whereby it's a bit more subliminal, it's a bit more anonymous, you are just talking to the world, like, if X comes to me, then this is what I'll do to them, kind of thing. It's like, can't really say anything about that because there's no direct law against that. That's just you effectively living out a fantasy because there's no realized opponent or anything. So I think on a case by case basis, it has to be looked at as at that. I don't want anyone listening to this as well to think that like I'm an advocate for the violence in drill at all, because that's why I don't even listen to it that much, because it is too much for me sometimes. I just think, I don't know. I know sometimes you just have to like you're almost listening with your hands over both ears. Like, trust in it.
You're listening without listening to the lyrics. But so, like a lot of the time I'm just like ignoring the lyrics. So you like, bro, that was mad what you just said.
Yeah. when you really deep the sentences, you think.
But yeah.
And I feel like it's quite a tricky topic in the sense that you want people to have like an avenue to make legitimate money. You want people to have an avenue to express themselves. But then at the same time, it's like you want to strike a balance between someone being able to speak on their reality and someone glorifying that reality.
There's that as well.
Reality
that's a good point as well.
Other people, because I'm saying like if these Joe guys are like, okay, cool, I'm chilling, I'm in the studio, I'm gonna talk about like shanking someone, I'm gonna talk about doing this, doing that, wet man up, knife man, and like there's a 12-year-old kid who is on an estate and does have access to knives and has gotten in some beef over some very petty stuff at school. Like it's a very tricky concept to say like it's just fine to let that kid listen to that where this kind of behavior is being glorified. Because the thing is, like, when you look at the statistics and stuff they're posting about knife crime and stuff, majority of the stuff isn't even happening between like people who are say 18, 19, 20. Majority is between kids who are like 12 and 14. These people are like very impressionable. This is like kids in like year 6 or something, and they realize that majority of these killings are happening between 4 and 6, which is when kids are going home from school.
Do you know what's interesting? Statistically, most of the people that are victims of violent crime, fatalities of violent crime, are actually older people. So people who are above the age of, I think it's 25, or it might be 21 or 25, one of the two, are statistically more at risk of actually dying of violent crime, including knife crime as well. I think, unfortunately, because of drill, it makes it very easy to say this group of people are like the face of it, essentially. Like, these are the ones who wear balaclavas, the ones who wear hoodies, the ones who are from the state, the ones who are young black boys. These are the ones that we can look at and say, yeah, it's your fault, kind of thing. And let's say there is the 12-year-old person on the estate. As I said before, there's a bunch of things that have led that 12-year-old person to be so impressionable that they will listen to the song and act out the stuff. Because as I said, I work with kids who listen to drill all the time, and I ask them directly, I'm like, does this ever make you feel like you will go out and do any of this stuff? Like, can you ever see yourself doing the stuff? Do you know what they're even talking about? Sometimes they'll say no, sometimes say yeah, like it's bait, and a lot of the time saying no, like I'd never do that. But again, that's because these kids are not in the conditions that would make them feel so at risk that they need to do some of the stuff that the drill artists are saying. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that comes into it. Because I used to listen to Eminem when I was 10, for instance. Eminem would cuss his mom, cuss his baby mom, cuss the world, da-da-da-da-da. I could never be like that because my mom loves me, and I would never swear at my mom and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's an influence there, there's information that's hitting you. That person who's hearing it, whether they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, blah, 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 needs to be prepped and trained in a way outside of that influence to understand how to interpret it and either not act in it or act on it if they need to act on it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's all sorts of, and it's like, whenever I touch on this topic, and like we haven't really touched on it that often on the show, but like I try and, I don't know, I kind of hesitate when I approach it, because I don't want to conflate the issue of drill music with knife crime, because I feel like they do too much of that. They do too much of that anyway.
Yeah.
But I do think sometimes, I mean, they're the ones that sort of brought in, when I say they, I mean the people that decided that it needs to be censored and stuff. Yeah. They're the ones that sort of brought drill music into the discussion anyway. So
the thing is, I just wanted to add, like, I think, because I also think it's a very sort of simplistic argument to just conflate the two, and it's lazy as well, because there's obviously a lot of socioeconomic factors, a lot of political factors that lead people to be at risk of committing knife crime. Because I mean, there are like people from good sort of wealthy middle class families who are listening to drill music, living in like, I don't know, Chelsea or Fulham or something. They're not committing knife crime. But then I think one thing where I'd say that they diverge in terms of something like Eminem's type of stuff and like drill music is that I feel like a lot of the stuff that is being said in drill music is a lot more relatable and a lot more real.
But maybe that's just because we're from London.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like
what I'm saying is like, but like even
that's down to personal perspective again.
Yeah, so like in terms of,
sorry, I don't want to cut you in it. I'll just say quickly, if you're from, let's say, an abusive household, and your dad is someone that you hate, and your mum is someone who's, I don't know, not very good with you as a child. If you listen to Eminem's music, then that music will probably touch you a lot more, or be a lot more relatable than necessarily some of the drill music. Sorry to cut you there, but go on, man.
Yeah, no, I get that. What I was saying was that, like, in terms of how, like, Eminem's music, I think, was also, it was quite violent. I did listen to it as a kid, but for me, like, a lot of the stuff sounded quite, like fantasy.
Cartoony.
I mean, a lot of it was him fantasizing about doing certain things. Whereas sometimes on drill, they're talking, they're mainly talking about like things that they've
sometimes
either done.
Talking about real life.
Exactly. So I get what you mean.
And
in
these
that
are
respect,
things where like someone could go into the kitchen, pick up a knife, and that person was pissing me off. I'm gonna go do that.
I hear what you mean.
But in terms of like dragging someone out to a forest in the middle of nowhere, where someone
that was a bit.
People do that,
and people do that. But what I was saying is,
people have been found in the forest near me, and they're like,
that takes a lot more like, I don't know.
Yeah, when you're 12,
when you're 12, like you can't even drive. It's like, how are you gonna
you can barely drag yourself out of bed.
So like I don't. Yeah, I think it's it's a very like complicated argument that needs a lot of like nuance. But then at the same time, I think there needs to be more done. Maybe not in terms of like censoring people, but just in terms of like figuring out how we can sort of. I don't even know if it's like educating people that's going to do this, because like it's not. I don't think just listening to a song will make someone go and pick up a knife and stab someone. I feel like there have to be other factors in place, 100%. And like it's probably more effective tackling the factors that put these people at risk in real life every day.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
But then it's like that. The fact that you feel like, okay, this is accepted, this is encouraged by people who look like me, who have grown up in similar surroundings to me, people who seem to be successful, at least superficially when I look at them, that I feel like gives an added incentive to feel like, oh, if I do this, then I become a bad man. Like
I get respect
or something. I get respect. Like, I'll go pen for like 2 months, 2 years. I come out and like I'm a bad man.
And then you got more value and got more social status.
Like the fact that people make it seem like it's something to like value. Being like, I was in Nottingham, right? I've told you this story. I feel.
Oh yeah, I think so.
And like this was the craziest experience. I'm in Nottingham, and like we went out for some Nottingham Carnival after party thing. We just went out, and then like I was there with like some family friends that I'd known grown up with, and this guy just outside the club comes up to us and he starts talking, and he's a bit drunk. He tried to speak to some girl, and then she wasn't really having it. She went away. And he's angry, and he's standing and he's talking to us, and then this guy pulls out a gun.
Mad.
This is just like in the just behind a club in like smoking area kind of thing. We're just standing outside getting some fresh air, quote unquote. And this guy basically starts just telling us about his life, and he's like, I'm 36. First of all, I was like,
what are you here?
Go ahead.
Like the average age in this place was probably like 20 or 21. Like it was a relatively like I was down. I was feeling a bit old. And I'm like, this guy's 36, and he's like, I'm 36. I've spent 12 and a half years of my life in pen. But like he was speaking. He wasn't. Like, he didn't seem sad or almost like he was speaking about this with pride.
Yeah.
And I spent 12 and a half years of my life in pen. Blah blah. And then he pulls out this gun, and this guy's bedazzled his gun. Like it's some like glitter, and he's like, my gun, like it was like, my shirt shine when it's dark. And I was just here like,
it's bad, man.
This kind of felt bad for this guy. Like, I was scared because like no one's ever like pulled. I mean, he wasn't pointing at me. I'm like, this guy is drunk and he's holding
so irrational that anything could happen.
A probably loaded gun. So I'm just like, no sudden movements, no nothing. I'm just standing there, just like listening, paying attention. He puts his hand on my shoulder. I'm just like, just chilling, paying attention, listening.
Like, I've been in this situation before. It's
like as soon as he was done, as soon as he turned to talk to his people, I was
dust in it. You are going.
I and my family was just out of it. And the thing is, like the two guys I came with, like these guys are like they were just standing there just laughing. And like looking at me and just laughing.
But they're from Nottingham. So
not even like only one of them's from Nottingham. I grew up with these guys in Nigeria, and like they were just laughing at me because I looked so shook during this period. And I'm like, of course I wouldn't
have laughed at you, bro.
I've been in it, trust. I'll be like, I pray you guys, because I don't know if I can help.
But the thing is, it's crazy because like when we left, then we saw like some of his other people, and they all had like all blacked out cars, just like outside the club, like Mercedes and Audis and stuff. And I'm like, there are people who are going to look at people like this guy and aspire to be like him.
Facts,
because they see him driving a Merc or a Benz, and this guy spent over like a third of his life in jail.
But that goes back to the system that we live in then, because it is very much like
what is defined as success.
Exactly. If we're saying success is capital and having stuff, and not being able to define whether stuff is assets or liabilities. Because having loads of cars is actually a liability because it takes a lot of money. But if we say that because he has stuff, he's doing very, very well, and we might even glamorize it and say, oh, despite the fact he's been to prison, he's still out here and he has all these vehicles.
He's taking care of his kids.
Exactly. We make it seem like this is a good thing.
I think it was like, does that really, there was some like short film on YouTube that had, those two guys from Man Them on the Wall.
Oh
Joy Van Wade and Javan Wade and someone else.
I know which one you're talking about.
The two lights-skinned ones.
The other guy's gone, isn't it?
I don't know what
I think he does like stand-up or something.
Is it?
Okay.
He was always my favourite. He was jokes. But
he was jokes,
he was like a comedian in his own right. The other two were like actors. I think. But anyway,
that makes sense.
But anyway,
basically, there was some short film on YouTube, and like Actually, no, it wasn't even those guys. I lied. That was a different short film.
Oh, you think Sherry's story?
No, not Sherry. I think I was just like mixing up. But like, there was a short film on YouTube about this guy, and like he was involved in, I think, like drug dealing and knife crime and stuff. And basically, he's running from some people, and he ends up like having to hide in this guy's house for a bit. And this guy's someone who used to be in the life, but like now he's gone clean and he's making legitimate money. He's just like working at Sainsbury's or something.
Yeah.
And like this guy's a bit older, and he's talking to them, and he's like, "Oh, so like you think you're balling because like you make, I don't know, a couple £100 of weed selling drugs for people and stuff." And he's like, "Oh, you think you don't pay tax on stuff and stuff?" And he's like, "Well, let me explain to you. Like every time police stop you, that's tax right there.
Yeah.
Every time you get picked, you get locked up for like a couple months or something, that's tax.
Yeah.
Every time you're like having to look over your shoulder because someone might be coming to stab you, someone might be coming to rob you, that's tax."
That's tax.
And he's like explaining like you're paying more, like you're paying because the guy was saying like, "Oh, like you're having a legit job and you're like having to pay 20% of your income or something." And he's like, "You're paying more tax than I am."
Yeah, facts. Your life is your tax.
Your life is heavily taxed. Yeah. And but things like people just don't really. It's hard to have this kind of perspective and nuance when you're like deep in that.
Yeah.
And I think
so. I guess solving that, like you mentioned about education, that might be the best. It's
but even
like,
with
there's so many different factors.
Education is like what do people
like,
weigh up like. The education you get on the street and the education you get in the classroom.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like how much
it can't be seen as
no,
like a linear
I didn't mean
thing.
Education like in school. I meant sort of educating them.
Knowledge, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's what it is,
teaching them that now what you're aspiring to is not what you should be aspiring to, because when you actually think about it, like you said, it's actually taking more of a toll on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean,
probably just get everyone on Scared Straight.
Scared Straight.
Is that the one where they go to America?
Yeah.
Funny enough, I know one of the kids who's went on that as well. Yeah.
Is he alright though? Was he scared straight?
I think he was scared, bro. But like, well, right, this is weird that you're doing this, man.
I saw it on Twitter actually the other day. It was a white kid actually. The tweet said black parents just know what to do or something like that. Yeah. Which I don't know, because my parents have never spoken to me the way this guard spoke to the kid.
Yeah.
But the kid was there looking at his parents, and he was pissed, like you could screw face his parents, and they're looking all sad, like what's happened to our little boy or whatever.
Yeah.
Then the guard just comes to put his hand on his shoulder. He says, "Look up and look at your mother." And the guy burst into tears. Kid burst into tears, and then I was like, "Yeah, this Scared Straight thing." Yeah, bro, imagine someone like that. Yeah, because the guy was a big dude coming and whispering in your ear, but like heavy, like look up and look at your mother. I was like,
the intimidation factor there, isn't it? Like
them ones, yeah. But okay, fine. Moving away from the sort of drill topic, because we kind of spoken on that for a while.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask about. So would you define your music as UK hip hop? Because to me, that's what I kind of see it as. If I had to put
I'd strip away the UK bit and just call it
just
hip hop. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, actually, it's good that you did that. Because the question I was about to ask is, how do you see hip hop received in the UK? But the reason I said UK hip hop is because I feel like hip hop as a genre is very well received in the UK.
Yeah, like we love Drake and Kendrick and da-da-da.
But when it comes from our own artists, it's not as well received, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think we're at a very interesting... Yeah, Jam Donut, man. Love, man. Thank you. I think we're at a very interesting moment in UK rap and UK hip-hop music. I guess, first and foremost, in defining UK hip-hop, it's quite difficult simply because I don't feel like there is a huge UK hip-hop platform here, because the way that a lot of people look at hip-hop music, if we're saying the music of hip-hop, that would be more what groups like High Focus give us, or someone like Coops, people like Koji Radical, people like Shocker. Like, these are like hip-hop artists that we'd say, because they propagate all the narratives of what original hip-hop is, which is essentially certain styles of production, but also the concepts and the types of stuff that they talk about in their music is usually quite introspective, quite reflective, and it's not necessarily the most contemporary production as well. I think there's always an alternative factor about it.
Yeah.
But when we just look at...
real quick, do you think it's called alternative just because it doesn't fall into the typical brackets that in the UK we see, so like drill, grime, Afro swing?
100%. That's all alternative, isn't it? It's just not the normal, innit?
Exactly. Yeah.
Or it's not the most widely regarded thing. So that's all alternative. It doesn't mean it's bad or it's better necessarily. It's just a little bit different. But the rappers in the UK that we have right now, they've had a #1 album. Stormzy literally just had #1 single with Ossie Bop.
Yeah.
Dave's done a whole tour around the whole country and around parts of the world. Mo Stack's going to be releasing something. J Hus is one of the most widely revered artists in the UK, and I think that's also outside of our scene as well. I think a lot of people just know J Hus. Stormzy's going to be headlining Glastonbury on one of the days. So
I was thinking that he's going to drop an album, because I don't know if he's but the thing is,
I feel like he must be.
I was like, he must be dropping an album, but Glastonbury's mid-June, right? Or
Is
it's
it
either
June?
mid-June or end June.
It might, yeah, it's about, yeah, right.
So he would need, obviously he's got the single out there. So because obviously he's going to think about this smartly. He's got the single out there. It's going to do what it does. He'll also need to drop the album and give that time to do what it does. So I was thinking, unless he drops it, like a surprise drop, or announces it in the next couple of weeks, and then drops it in 2 weeks or something like that, he would end up having to do like a drop on the weekend or the week before Glastonbury, and then be,
I think he could
debuting, and he could. He's a big enough artist to do that, and then be debut a bit like what Kendrick did with Damn, and then performing Coachella the next weekend.
And that's what J Cole did with KOD almost. Not quite, but actually no, it was similar-ish. I guess J Cole had more time.
Like Drake came to Wireless just after dropping Scorpion.
Yeah, but it's Drake's a bit different, because I feel like Drake, and also Drake coming to Wireless wasn't even planned, because that was just because
he just loves London.
Gigs called him like, bro, DJ Khaled dropped out, we need a favour, man. So, but yeah, no,
I still think that Stormzy. In fact, going back to your original question, in fact, I think that UK rap and the artists that we have here that do rap are we're in the best position that we've ever been.
I think so as well, yeah.
The best position we've ever been. But I also think we also have the most talent on a wider scale than we've ever had as well. Because even if we don't look at the very, the highest revered artists, i.e. the Stormzy's, Daves, J Hus we just spoke about, if we even go down one level and we look at the fact that we have Loyal Kana, and we have Little Sims, and we have Koji Radical, Sick, and we go down maybe even just one level, and we have Shocker, and we have, who else do we have? I'm trying to think of names off the top of my head.
Lemzi.
We have a lot of great artists, basically, who do sick hip-hop music. And I think the fact that the scene is so varied now, like you can be drill and grime, innit? You could be grime, you could be drill, you could be hip hop, you could be alternative, you could be old school, you can be Afro swing, you could be all of these different things now, or all of them, and you kind of have a market there now. So I feel that we're in a very good place. I do feel that this more alternative / ode to the old school of hip hop. So probably more the stuff that I do and some of the other artists I mentioned do needs to have more of a light on it, because drill's doing numbers, grime, it goes up and down. The more contemporary and commercial rap artists are doing very well. Afro swing is doing very well. This alternative one needs to get that boost, so the people like the Little Sims, the Loyals, Shockers, myself, Koji's, 4i, Shana Kane, blah 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 blah. Just need to keep punching. Do
you see, because I listen to that type of music, but on the sort of commercial level,
J-Lingo,
I don't know, I struggle to see it reaching a massive commercial level over here, just because it's too easily bracketed with the Kendricks and Coles and Drakes and stuff, and then it becomes you're fighting with like a monster, basically, because they're exactly, like a worldwide phenomenon. Whereas you're trying to burst out of the UK first and then see where it goes on the global scale, kind of thing.
Well, that's why I feel like someone like Little Sims
she's
is the epitome of what artists such as myself, someone like Little Sims and like Koji, and even out of rap, you look at Georgia Smith, Mahalia, the whole hip hop, neo soul, R&B kind of bubble. We can't have this linear approach of we gotta do UK like. UK doesn't want people. Yeah, we have the internet, which means we can connect to Germany has a sick hip hop scene. So does the Netherlands as well.
I've seen that the Colours show.
Exactly. Stuff like that.
And the Netherlands have got loads of festivals and stuff.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities outside of our island that, because it's not America, a lot of people have the perception that it might not really be the thing I should go for. Whereas in reality, if it's an opportunity to go and perform in front of hundreds of people, or even just a few people, in a foreign land, sick. Yeah,
it's funny actually. We had an artist on here called Whisper. He's a rapper from Croydon, and I asked him a similar question about more about just what he thinks of the state of the UK scene as it is now, and he was saying a similar thing. He's got loads of fans in the Netherlands. I think his first sort of his first freestyles and stuff started to blow in the Netherlands first before it started to blow here.
Sick.
And he was saying that he thinks in the UK it's too often people are put in a box. So if you're not Afro swing or drill,
they can't judge you,
or grime, or if you don't fall into one of those categories easily, they don't know what to do with you. So they kind of just put you to the side, and you have to kind of look elsewhere to blow.
I think with UK music as well, what we have to do is go back in history and see like what has been the stuff that people really enjoyed. What has the UK market put forward? And if we go all the way back to jungle, UK music has very much been based on rave music. Like whatever music gets people going at the parties the most is the thing that we want to hear the most. So whether it's been jungle or drum and bass or grime or garage or dubstep, all of these things are like quite quick tempo as well. So when we talk about hip hop music, which is usually, let's say, anything between 100 to 80 BPM, it's slow. It's a lot more, I don't know, there's a lot more, not a lot more words, but there's a whole different vibe to it. It's a whole different vibe behind the grime and the dubstep and the UK funky that we had. And
having said that, the American stuff goes off. Even though some of it,
a lot of it is like heavily trapping, and that's again at a certain tempo where it's like this gets us jumping, this gets us going. So if we look at that,
it's not often you hear J. Cole in a club. So
exactly, and even if it is J. Cole, it's more his ATM kind of song or anything. And same thing with Kendrick. You don't hear Sing About Me. You hear Swimming Pools or Element or something. But I guess that's down to the artist to think, what do you want to do? Do you want to make sure that the UK audience has something that they definitely will probably like, or do you just continue making the music that makes you happy, which is of course fine as well. But
there's that as well,
because of the internet, because of social media, we have a little bit more of an opportunity to reach these people that are definitely more inclined to listen to the stuff that we produce. But when I think about like my own music, I just try and make music now that I enjoy. Like that doesn't mean it has to be hip hop music. There was even a house tune that I was going to start working on soon, just because I was like, I like this sounds good, and I have something to say on it. And I feel like that's what a lot of the people that I look to as the successful artists do. So even if we look at the UK ones like a Dave or Stormzy, neither of their albums were just one sound.
That's true. Like you wouldn't say, even though Stormzy, you would class him as a grime artist, you wouldn't say.
I don't even know the last time he made grime.
Exactly, it wasn't a grime album. So
he had gospel on there.
Gospel,
he had all the stuff that touches him, innit? But it's all in different ways. So there is the gospel, as you said. There's grime. There's a bit of just rap. There's slower R&B tunes like the Kalani ones. So make music that inspires you and makes you happy.
Well, the Kalani feature actually.
Yeah.
So I guess my last few questions kind of focus on grime.
Cool.
Why is it so you don't make grime? A lot of artists do. Oh, you used to? Okay, so why is it that you moved away from grime?
Personally, and this is just for me, I grew out of it. Grime is energy. That's what grime is more than anything. There is an aspect of grime that is very heavily on like your lyrics and stuff like that. But what I was finding was that you can write hundreds of lyrics and you get to spray them on radio and stuff. But I just wasn't satisfied with that circuit of go to this radio station and this run, rap the same lyrics here that you do here, that you do here, that you do here, write some next week, rap it here, rap it. It was like, that just didn't feel fulfilling for me. For some people, they love it and it's sick for them. But for me, when I think about the stuff in grime, that is like grime. So that is going radio sets, that is like clashes on Lord of the Mics and stuff like that, or on a lesser level. And even some of the events as well, I just thought, this isn't where I'm meant to be, essentially, because I think just me as a person, I'm pretty calm and I'm pretty laid back and slow with stuff. Whereas, as I said, with grime, it's energy. You could be someone who doesn't have any bars whatsoever, but if you say, yo, start your mom, we like, you get it straight away, and it's like, I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't want to have that as well. I have a whole different thing where it's like, let me tell you what I'm saying. So, I just personally grew out of grime in terms of doing it. In terms of listening to it, even to a degree, I've kind of I don't really listen to that much grime anymore.
I would say I'm more of a casual fan now.
I don't really know who's really like, not that there's not people popping, but I don't really know who is at the moment. But
that leads me nicely to my next question, because I was gonna ask, is grime dead? Because you don't see it's a difficult one.
Grime is never dead.
But you don't see people making as much, and I don't think grime is dead personally, but I feel like it's evolved, but I don't think it's dead.
But I don't think grime will ever die, man. Because grime is everywhere.
Pure grime the way you would traditionally classify
grime.
Though.
That's the thing, you do. But this is okay. So with grime, even when we thought it was popping and we thought it was sick, let's say at the genesis of grime, if we step back and we look at it objectively, really and truly, it was like this pocket of East, this pocket of South London, this pocket of Northwest, and this pocket of North. Outside of that, and a few little pockets up outside of London as well. Aside from that, no one was listening to grime. It was for us, and it was very, very niche. But because we made it seem like such a big thing, and we were so happy to see Kanos and Dizzies and doing sick things, we were just like, yeah, grime is alive and sick, and there's an energy and there's a movement behind it, because there are a lot of things that followed it, i.e. the DVDs came, then the battles came. Then the shows like Eskimo Dances picked up and stuff like that. But I'm sure if there was, Grime Originals that happened a few months ago, I didn't go, but from what I saw and what I heard, it was sick. Like, there were loads of people there. Bare of the MCs came through, except Wiley. It's just the vibe. So I don't think grime will ever die. Like, I see it in Japan and Germany and Poland and Russia and stuff as well. So it's there.
I think I would agree with you that I don't think it will ever die, and I think it's evolved. But I think, like you said, that if you look at it objectively, like back then, it was only popping amongst certain circles, like amongst us basically. But if you look at the music that we listen to now, grime isn't as prevalent as it used to be. It's more like, so I think the question of is grime
maybe not
dead?
in London.
Maybe not in London.
Yeah,
okay. But
I would say that it still has its heavy influences elsewhere. But I think, because you're right. There's evolution in London now. We have bare different genres that in 2004 were around grime genesis. We just didn't have them, or definitely not to the same degree anyway. So I think now people are just, that back then probably would have done grime are now expressing themselves in a different way, whether it's through drill or Afro swing or trap or We've found different ways to do it now, but there are still Mode FM that still has DJs every single day, and MCs that come down every single week, if not every single day. Don City Radio, same thing.
I feel like the foundations have been like firmly put in place.
Yeah, because they're there. That this event as well, whether it's Grime Originals or Eskimo Dance or whatever else, they'll have people that come and support the thing.
So I'm working on a magazine about
congrats,
Black British music and grime and stuff like that. So I'm asking a lot of people, so I'm going to ask you as well. What does grime mean to you?
Grime means youth and means energy. Grime means attitude as well. Grime means just like expressing yourself at that moment in time, however you feel. And that's why you can get away with just shouting out a few words in grime, because it's not about being the best lyricist. Grime is very, like, hip-hop is very much what you're saying, sometimes as opposed to how you're saying it, whereas grime is very much however you're saying what you're saying. There's an emphasis on the how, like, give it to me in a way that I will feel it immediately. Don't make me sit on this and interpret what you're saying. Make me feel it. Skepta's That's Not Me is like, I think that's one of the best songs that came out in the last decade.
I love that song.
And simply because I know that if you're a lyricist or a conscious hip-hop artist, you would go on a whole narrative about how designer labels aren't really for people and they take money out of the pocket of people and where Skepta just came along and said, boom, throw it in the bin, that's not what I want, I don't want that, I'm this, take me for this, if you don't, cool, bounce, I'm gone. And I thought, this is sick, because this is grime. The production was grime, the bars were grime, the fact that him and his brother were in the video as well, I was like, this is grime. This is sick. 80 British pounds, yeah, exactly. But that's what it is, it's so DIY. Yeah. That's another thing for grime as well, so DIY. And I feel like that being a big part of my past is something that's really influenced me at this point as well. Like, if I didn't see all of these grime artists doing what they did, creating their own radio stations, their own shows, their own venues, their own blah blah blahs, I probably wouldn't be as productive in what I'm doing at the moment. Because Jammer always says whoever's coming out of UK now should want to like grind for it.
Yeah.
And at first when he said that, I felt a little way because I thought, why?
I think it's
but like, I get it.
I get what
it
he
is
means
like
as well,
the different elements of what grime showed us.
They've like really, they've given it a platform, given our type of music a platform that just wouldn't have existed prior to grime.
Yeah.
But I do also, when he says things like that, I'm a bit like, dude, like nobody owes you.
Because the
like,
way I hear it is like he's saying
to come and like
to
bow
me
down to you every time you,
as opposed to grime, you hear, no, thank me, I'm joking. But no, I do, because the DIY aspect, the whole creating stuff yourself, the whole making these types of events or showing, just being a template more than anything, is what I am thankful to grime for.
Okay, and I guess the last thing, I don't know if you saw recently, Chip tweeted about
I saw that.
Yeah. So it's like postcode wars. It's like a battle of the boroughs. Basically, Chip, obviously he's from North.
Actually, go on. I think I saw something else.
Okay, so Chip was saying that he said North has the best spitters. So basically, he said,
here we go.
If you took London and you split it up into the areas, so North, South, East, West, and Northwest, because I'm from Northwest, so we're separate.
You have your own thing, yeah. But are we saying Southeast and Southwest then, or are we just saying South?
So I'm gonna get into that in a second. Cool. But basically, he was saying that if you take it, you do it like this. So basically, you have a rap beat and a grime beat, and it's not a studio. It's just
rapping.
You've got the mic. Yeah. Everybody's around you as well, so there's the pressure of everyone around you.
Yeah.
He said North would eat anyone alive. Yeah. So firstly, I was gonna ask what your opinion is, and then basically he's trying to set it up so that they do it at the next Red Bull Culture Clash where they have, which I think would be sick.
That would be dope.
Where I don't know if it'll work out, because I don't know if everyone in South is loving each other like that. Everyone in North, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's gonna work like that, but he said basically you take your team
top five,
like a five-a-side. You take your five, and what you said about South and Southeast, Southwest is interesting, because I've always considered Northwest as separate, because I'm from Northwest, and if somebody said you're from North, I'm not from Tottenham or Islington. It takes me half an hour.
Different place.
It takes me too long to get there for me to say that I'm part of it.
Yeah.
But then if you separate Northwest, do you need to separate Croydon from South? Because Croydon's postcode is CRO.
Yeah, technically Croydon's not even in London.
So then it's like, how do you separate it? Because if you include Croydon in South, which I think you would have to, if
you'd have
to, because we'd include.
I mean, we've always considered Croydon as South.
Yeah.
So
Croydon, South.
But then I think you would have to throw Northwest into North to make it fair, then, because North becomes too small.
I don't know why, but socially,
I mean, you could have another team. You could have 5 teams.
Would you have Streatham and Croydon?
Streatham would be South as well.
Yeah. But this is the thing. I don't know why, but socially, South has always just been South.
Yeah.
No one's really like.
I think it's because
us growing up, we never called it South East or South. It was like, oh, you're in South kind of thing. But Northwest did have its own distinctive place.
Northwest, like, so the other day I'm from like Edgware sides, and I drove to Wembley, and that's about a 25-minute drive.
Yeah. So
and you're going from like NW7 to NW8 or something. Like, I can't remember exactly what it is. Whereas in Croydon, so that's like one number, like you've gone up one in the postcode thing. But in Croydon, apparently, all like in South, you can, like a half-hour journey, you've gone from like SE1 to SE11 or something like that. I don't know.
Is out there. Like, it is far. Exactly. I went there, I think last year or the year before. It's far.
So I think it's you can't really do it by postcodes and stuff. Like, I think maybe you could do separate areas.
The postcodes aren't even like put in.
Yeah, because Wembley's Harrow.
Like SW3 is next to SW7 is next to SW10.
It's meant to be alphabetical order. That's what it's meant to be.
They don't really work, because like
SC6, it's not how far you are from the centre.
It's so far, and SC1 is London Bridge.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the one that's 1 is usually the one that's closest to centre, but then after that it's just alphabetical.
Okay. All right. So we'll do a separate team for Northwest.
Yeah, I would say so. But South can just be South.
I'm back in this thing. If I had to pick a 5, I'm back in North, because I think I'm biased. Anyway, so for me, if it goes between North and South, So
what? I want to hear.
You're gonna say East, did it?
Because you're from.
So my five for North. My 5 for North are Skepta.
Yeah.
Jamie. Wretch.
Yeah.
Who else was in there?
Chip,
obviously. And I think I had Avellino at 5.
Yeah, these lot will get barred. They get barred.
bear in mind they have to rap on both. So they have to be good on both. They can't, like, for example, a Gigs, for example, if you put him in the South team, Gigs on a grime beat.
He can do it, man.
He can do it. He did it on Free Wheel Ups.
Man don't care as well. But Gigs on a grime beat, I reckon will get spun by Chip on a grime beat. Yeah, 100%.
Whereas Chip on a rap beat wouldn't get spun as hard.
I hear that.
On a rap beat, but you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I reckon that 5.
It's a solid 5.
I think it would just about take, because for me the South 5 is very, very strong as well.
Who's South? Like Dave.
My 5 was Dave, Stormzy, one of Krypton Conan. I think, like, because if you put them together, I don't know if you should have 2 spots or 1. Like,
yeah, okay, I hear that.
P Money,
hard,
and I was gonna say one of Novelist or Bonkers. One of those two.
I say Bonkers definitely.
Because I don't think Gigs would keep up on the gram side.
I think you made a smart choice. So I'd say Bonkers out of those
Bonkers out of Novelist. Yeah, I think so as well, because I didn't like Novelist last project at all. we chatted about it, but anyway. So I reckon
5 years in the making.
I reckon the North 5 would just about pip the South 5.
That's so
and I also want to say West. I don't know, like
AJ Tracy.
It was AJ and Big Zoo, and the guy from Western, Pretty Girl, bro. Like,
Louis,
but like, come on, man.
That's very interesting.
I reckon
North like
who's from
North is alright.
East has got D Double. They've got
we got Kano, we got Wiley, we got Getz, we got Dizzy,
we got Bizzle.
If you want to go Bizzle, maybe Tinchy when he was on his A game. If you want, we had Criminal when he was sick. Yo,
is Scorcher from North?
Yeah, he's from North. Yeah,
Scorcher.
We had Maverick as well when he was sick.
You can only pick 5, man.
I'm just going through like the bench. Yeah, no, 5. Okay, so definitely Kano gets Dizzy, despite the fact that Wiley's completely erratic. I'll probably have to put him on there still.
But could Wiley do it on a rap beat though?
Yeah, I thought Wiley can rap on everything. 100%.
Okay,
wait, what's been going on with Wiley recently? Like,
he's been bugging. He's been bugging. He was. I told you about when he was trying to beef Drake. Well, not beef Drake, but
he was getting onto him.
He was getting onto Drake.
Definitely getting onto
him. He was saying Drake's a culture vulture.
We should have spoken about that.
What do you think?
No.
Do you think?
I did at first, but no,
so
I don't anymore.
I think it depends how you define culture vulture, because I think he is a culture vulture, but not for the reasons that everyone's saying, and not like in a bad way. Do you get me? Like, if you say a culture vulture is someone that just takes from someone's culture and doesn't, pay homage or anything like that, then he's not that.
Culture vulture is.
So then if that's the case, then he's not that, because he does pay homage to everyone else. But if it's just somebody that sort of uses aspects of other people's culture for their own gain, which I would say he does that, but because he pays homage, it's okay. Do you get me? Like,
that's the fine line, isn't it?
Yeah, because like, for example, when he was on his Afro-Caribbean wave thing, he signed Popcorn. So you can't say that you can't say it's only
as well,
exactly. You can't say it's only for his gain, because he's shouted out the people that have influenced him, and he's helped the people that have influenced him. Like, putting Dave on a song gave Dave a massive look early on. So it's like he's shouting out his influences. So then it's not a vulture in that sense, but he is using. You can't say he's not using people's.
This is the thing, yeah. So he's not doing things from a truly altruistic standpoint, where it's like he just wants to help everyone in the world.
Which is, I think, Wiley's problem, because he kind of makes it out like that's what he's trying to do. Especially when he says, "Oh, listen, I just love the young guys, and I'm trying to." And he says that stuff
like, no, you get something out
of it.
Whether it is like pockets of people that didn't necessarily mess with you do mess with you a bit more, or whatever, or I don't know, maybe it is just like some internal credibility he gets himself from saying, I've helped X, I've helped Y, I've helped Z, which is, that's fine. But in terms of being a culture vulture, that would literally mean, you come to the UK, you jump on a grime beat, and then you don't shout out anyone, for instance. Like, you just say, I'm sick of this grime stuff, innit? And then you move on to your Afro swing stuff, and it's like, that would be being a culture vulture to me. But even when he did the Fire in the Booth, and I was on a drill beat, it felt like he was kind of paying homage to drill and saying, this is actually sick, like, I'm going to give it a go, as opposed to coming and thinking, I can do this. Because even when he did his show, he said, guys, I know I'm not a drill artist, I'm not a grime artist, I'm not a UK rap artist, but I love coming here. Like, this is my second home kind of thing. So that we can't ignore the fact that he said that.
Yeah,
and he's shown it through actions of helping people.
I think people give Drake too much credit for what he's done or is doing for the UK.
Because he hasn't.
People say I heard them. I genuinely saw people arguing whether he's been more influential on the UK scene than Wiley, and I'm like, Wiley's one of the guys that started this whole thing. There's silly. That, and there's also. Like, we give Drake credit for, like, knowing Section Boys tunes, basically. Like, remember when
that's
he came
what it is, like, he knows things.
Whose show was it?
It was Section Boys, wasn't it?
No, but recently. It wasn't Lowski, it was because he's in...
I know you're talking about, though.
Dig That. Was it Dig That? I think it was... But he was there and he was rapping the verse, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But there's bare people that can rap Dig That's verses. He's got bare fans here. Like, why... That's what I mean when I see people giving Drake credit for, like, knowing the words.
Yeah, because that doesn't help.
It's like, all that proves is he's got Instagram.
And he's a fan,
can find he's a fan, yeah, basically. All it proves is he's a fan and he listens to it. But, like, you're giving him credit for the stuff that anybody that
everybody else could do and has done, yeah.
So I do feel... Obviously, he's done a madness in terms of, from a commercial standpoint, getting UK artists sort of seen out in America and stuff like that, which just equals more money for them. So I guess from that standpoint, you could say, yeah, he's definitely done a lot. But even then, it's debatable because the Americans weren't really fucking with gigs when he was on More Life and stuff like that.
Yeah, they didn't rate it at all.
So how much did he really do for UK artists going out to America and stuff? Yeah.
And he also, it's not even just like rap artists like who's been sort of putting on.
Georgia Smith.
Like Georgia Smith.
Yeah, that's true.
Whiskey
got a big look.
Yeah, Drake is a sound man, isn't it?
Exactly that.
He's a sound man, so he likes music. Full stop, I think, and you always see him with different things. Even what was that guy, Block Boy J, stuff like that. Where did you find? I'd never heard of Block Boy J.
And apparently he did the video. He did the video for him for free. Like the feature in the video, he did it all for free.
There you go. Like. Obviously, as we said, Drake gets something out of that. Maybe he knows, this is a sick song, so I know this is gonna pop, and that's another single that I can just say I've done, so I don't have to release my own stuff.
Even like
maybe
the Shoot song that he did with JB, that was like the song was already out. That was a remix.
Yeah, there you go.
It was a remix.
Everything. He's been doing it for time. Versace with
Versace with Migos.
Migos, yeah. He's been doing it for time. But
no, shout out Drake. Like, I mean, I'm a big Drake fan of it, but like, basically, I think when people say. The problem people have is like sometimes he tries to paint it like it's completely altruistic and stuff, and it's like, dude, we know you're getting something out of it. But then on the other hand, like
people don't like the accents as well at times.
The thing is about the accents as well. I don't like when he does the Caribbean accent because it's like why? But when he does that stuff, when he does that stuff, I'm like, dude, nah, stop. But when he does when people say the UK accent, that's actually how people from like Toronto speak.
Okay, with that point, that's true.
But apparently
however, is that how Drake speaks?
That's the thing. I don't know if that's how Drake speaks.
I don't feel like Drake ever spoke like that.
But I feel like
is he from Toronto like that
I feel like
as well?
He dumbed down the Toronto side when he came in the game.
Saying that he was like appropriating other parts of Toronto culture, like
I mean, he does
like
he appropriates Scarborough. Scarborough's like a part which is
is that the one that they speak patois?
Yeah, they speak a lot of patois. Then it's also they were I think. It's like a less affluent area, and he's just not from there. Yeah. But he's speaking like someone from Scarborough.
Yeah, that's like. But if you're not from Ends and then you try and talk like you are from Ends.
Exactly.
Okay, you're from London.
That's a good point. But
you're not from here, where people actually talk. Like if you come from Chelsea and then you start talking like you're from Hackney, it's a bit like, don't do that. You don't need to.
That's a good point.
So that's the one thing with that whole Drake. It's like people in Toronto do.
That's the thing. No one knows how he speaks now. Because I feel like when he came in the game, he hid the Toronto side.
It was very nice.
I thought he was American for a long time. He hid the Toronto side because he didn't to blow in America.
To blow in it,
Toronto wasn't big back then. So
Canada's big now.
Yeah, man. Justin Bieber.
For me, I think when you look at the connection between sort of London and Toronto, I feel like artists here are missing a trick.
Yeah, it's close. It's much easier.
It's so much closer in sort of cultures as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That like going for America, like going for like New York or something like that. I feel like trying to crack into they're sometimes a bit too ignorant. Yeah, not to bash Americans or anything like that, but like
a lot of Americans, to them, America's the whole world.
Exactly. So you're outside. They don't.
Try out in like Toronto and stuff. I know there's not as much money there, but I feel like a lot of artists here get more love over there than they would.
I can definitely imagine that. Definitely.
Yeah, fam. Canada 2019, everyone.
So Canada 2019. Yeah, I'm trying to go out there. Yeah. But
it's just too cold out there.
Go in summer, it'll be right.
I'll go in summer. Summer's
gone.
But now back to the chip thing. quickly before we wrap up.
The end.
So what's your East 5? Because I was saying it comes down to North versus South.
Yeah, nah. Kano gets Dizzy, definitely.
Is this based on current ability?
Current ability.
That's the thing that's
okay. That's
interesting. Because a lot of the artists I was thinking, like for example, Scorcher, he hasn't dropped a tune in a while. Well, I mean, he just dropped one when he came out. Right?
Yeah.
But prior to that, obviously, he was in prison and he basically wasn't active.
Yeah.
So it's like, are we taking all time?
Okay.
Or
really,
now?
it probably should be active people. Okay. Even in that case, then you may have to take out Jamie. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah.
Which hurts me because Jamie's like my favorite artist. Like
for real,
he's my favorite UK artist, definitely.
That's dope.
It's between. I mean, because I always go back between him and Skepta, but it's definitely. I think it's Jamie, personally.
It's mad that they both made it like big as brothers.
And Judy as well.
Yeah, and Judy's doing
talented family man.
Bits, Yeah, their trick was like sticking together from the start, though, innit? Like whether it was Meridian or Boy Better Know or whatever, like they were always together still, innit? Top 5. Okay, if we're talking active people, that does change things a bit. Because even Kano, to a degree, since Made in the Man, he hasn't done anything, innit?
You guys are looking sticky.
He's just looking a bit washed.
Oh man, like
Stefflon Don?
She is from East.
Is she from East?
She is. Yeah.
Does she count as Dutch because she grew up there?
Wait.
She grew up in Amsterdam.
Yeah, but she's from East, man. She's from Clapton.
She grew up in Amsterdam.
Oh yeah, you're right. Then it's a bit. Who am I saying for East then? Because really out here we got Huss, Gets this. Oh yeah, okay. We got Koji, who's out here. He can do a lot. Koji's out here doing a lot. Gets is out here doing a lot. I don't even know if I've heard Huss on a grind beat, but I feel like North.
She's from North.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, throw her in. Yeah, replace with Jamie and you're calm. You're not calm. Yeah, man, it's looking sticky for East, right? Yeah. Oh wow.
South. The thing about South is because if you took Croydon out, like if you separated those two, then I think you're fighting Croydon basically. I reckon you could find 5 artists from Croydon.
Yeah, easy.
That would like do. That would like cause some questions.
That'd be good. Damn, who's in East right now?
Where's Ocean Wisdom from?
I have no idea. No idea.
What about President T?
It's from North as well.
Yeah,
President T's from North.
Yeah.
Yo, we're laughing,
kind of stacked.
Yeah.
True. Well, okay.
Well, I say we because I'm Northwest, so he's Northwest. Yeah, I'm appropriating it now. Dappy's Northwest. Scraps is Northwest. Nines is Northwest. Who else?
Where's Youngin from? He's South.
South. Yeah. I was sure you could put Youngin in South. But is he Croydon or?
I don't know. We've just got all the Afro swing artists right now.
Yeah, that's what
we got. Bane. We have.
You could put J Huss in there though, because I reckon J Huss he can do.
He could write anything. I reckon.
He can do it on a grind beat. He's done it before.
Sick. Alright, cool. Him.
I don't know.
I forget where Mostak's from. Is he from East as well?
I feel like he's from North as well. He's definitely not from East.
He's not from East. I forget where he's from. He might be from North.
But yeah, this is going to be sticky one for East then. If we're just saying music, then J Huss, Young Bane,
I'm biased obviously.
Swarms,
so I'm going to pick either North or Northwest. It's a bit like the Ronaldo Messi debate. Like I'm a United fan, so I'm going to pick Ronaldo. Even though, there's no reason behind it. I was picking.
That's fair though.
It's a bit sticky for United over the weekend.
Yo, listen,
a bit sticky.
The playoffs have been mad now. Basketball's what I watch.
Everyone from 3 to 6 just
I don't watch
go in the bin
anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know where you support.
I support Tottenham, innit?
I mean, you guys made it at least.
Nah, do you know what? Yeah, I feel like Arsenal will win the Europa, and we finish 4th, so they'll knock us out.
No, but the Europa just gets added in.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, just 5 teams.
Alright, yeah, that's true.
The only thing that could happen is if you lose like 3-0 against Everton.
We have to lose like 8-0.
Is it 8? No, because your goal difference is 4 more than Arsenal's, I think. So if you lost 3-0,
8.
Is it 8?
Only 4?
I think it's 4. I was checking yesterday, but.
Oh, you might. Oh, maybe.
But I put my phone down and stopped checking. As soon as
because I know Arsenal been taking L's, man. The last like
every
4 games.
Every team has, man.
But theirs has been 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, something like that. Like they've been taking L's.
Oh no, the goal difference is 8.
Yeah. So we're comfy. Unless we
unless you lost
lose by 4
and
exactly.
But their final game is away from home, so we know they're not winning.
So they'll take the L. We'll probably take the L as well, for honest, because shambles, man. I support Liverpool this season anyway.
Europa League playoffs. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Listen,
that's what it should be.
Ole's at the wheel, man.
Oh man.
Anyway, to be honest, that's all my questions. On you, any?
I think it's been a good discussion. A discussion, definitely.
Yeah, touched quite a few things there.
Yeah.
Tour life, Hidden Gems live tour, Wednesday the 8th until Saturday the 11th. Make sure you're there. That's this week as well. So yeah, come find me, come find any of the gang, and we will be performing some live tunes. We're back in London on Saturday the 11th in Rich Mix, which is in Shoreditch. Easy for everyone, so no excuses.
Yeah, we love that. Thank you for coming on, man.
Nah, thank you so much, man. Thanks, Bank holiday Monday. Let's do it.
Good luck for the tour.
Love.
So the London show's on Saturday, yeah?
Saturday the 11th, yeah, this Saturday. Yep, there's a link, so if you go... the one on Saturday is through Rich Mix's own website itself, but if you just go to www.hiddengemslivetour.co.uk, you'll find it there, or follow me on Instagram, follow Hidden Gems Live on Instagram, link in our bio, and it'll be there.
Okay, yeah, so you've been listening to 2Gs in a Pod. Thanks for listening. We're on everything. We're on SoundCloud, 2Gs in a Pod podcast. We're on Apple Podcast, 2Gs in a Pod podcast. We're on Spotify, 2Gs in a Pod podcast. And we're on YouTube. This won't be on YouTube, but we are on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram at 2Gs in a Pod. Follow us on Twitter at 2Gs in a Pod _. And we're going to leave you with Hidden Gems by Lemzi featuring Tonya.
Yeah.
My GJ,